all of the pieces are done. Everything is ready to be put together. And you're going to refer to the chart on page 5 of the instructions. And it gives you the letter of the block in order to put it together. And the way they do it is they do the top border first, so it's a KJK, and then they're going to put together everything in a row order like this. And that's exactly how I'm going to do it as well. So you want to refer to this chart to make sure that you get everything in the right order. I'm going to lay it all out on my cutting table, and then I will pick the pieces up individually in rows and sew them together. Okay, it's all laid out, and now I am ready to go over to the sewing machine and start putting it all together. I'm getting ready to put the border blocks together, and looking at it from the front, it doesn't matter which way you do it to personal preference, but I recommend you do them all the same. They all have the basic same design, they're just different sizes. So I'm going to do mine with the little swirl that starts near the bottom of the snowflake versus up at the top. So I want my swirls to go this way. And it's completely up to you. It doesn't matter. Whichever way makes your heart happy will work. But you want to make sure that you get them all the same, because it'll look wonky if you do one where it comes out starting up here and your other ones come from underneath. It'll look, if anybody notices it, it would be backwards. On the sides, when I do the side border blocks, I'm going to do the same thing. So it'll start with the swirl closest to the outside of the quilt on both sides. So that's my game plan on that. So the way I'm going to do this is to put them right sides together, and I'm going to pin the outermost corners of the stitch lines, outermost corners, and I'm going to go in one and go right in the corner of the one it belongs to. And I'm going to line them up straight. Make sure the pin is horizontal, and take another pin and then pin those together so that it's anchored. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going in the outermost corner, and I'm going to pin it into the outermost corner, line them up. Make sure the pin is horizontal. You don't want it like this, and you don't want it like that, or right left. You want it horizontal. I like to hold it between my finger and my thumb of my other hand, and then I'm going to pin this together like this. Now, when you sew, you're going to sew with the needle right on the inside of that outermost stitch line. So right on the inside of the outermost stitch line. And I'm going to make sure these are nice and level. I'm going to start out on the outside there. If you do them all the same, it'll look fine out here. But if you look, okay, my stitching all matches, and you cannot see that seam line in between the two. If you press your seams open, that's going to press down flat. It looks great. So now I'm going to do the next one. So put the pin straight in the corner of the outside stitching line, straight here, Line them up, horizontal pin, anchor that, and do the same thing here. Outside stitch line corner, outside stitch line corner, get that pin horizontal. And let's see how it looks. That came out pretty perfect. I like that one. So that's how I'm going to do them all. I will open up the seams, press them flat, and I will use a clapper and give it a good shot of steam and really get these seams flat. I've got this one done. Now I'm going to go put the night scene with the snowmen singing together and bring those over here. All right, now I'm gonna sew together 1, 2, this row, sew these 2 rows together, and then 1, 2, 3, sew these together, and then sew this row to this, and then we'll be able to, then I'll sew these 2 borders together, these 2 together end to end, and then attach the borders to this 3-row piece. So I'm going to take Merry and Christmas and put them together, right sides facing. Let's see how we did. Oh, I missed. Look at that. It shifted. I will not leave that. I will fix that. All right, so let's try this another way. Use my fingernail to get rid of the little holes. You know, it's not going to work every time, and it's helpful to see how to fix it. The seam ripper I used, we sell in our store, powertoolswiththreadstore.com, best in the industry. My husband makes them in his shop, powertoolswiththreadstore.com. Okay. Let's try this again. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this another way. So I'm going to, in between the 2 stitch lines, I'm going to pin it in the middle, just like before. I'm going to do this part first, and then pin this in the middle. See, it does shift. Okay, so that is right. I'm going to take 2 more pins, and I'm going to anchor it on either side directly next to where it needs to be. If it's going to shift, I don't want it shifting here. These need to match, because that will look so bad. My watch is telling me it's time to stand. I beg to differ. I'm very busy. Okay. Do you like that commercial where they take the watch and they put it on the dog's tail? Let it wag. I love that. It's hilarious. My little cow dog doesn't have a tail. Okay, let's try this now and see if it works. I'm going to do another trick too. I learned this from Janet Prey of Islander Sewing Systems. Her mother worked in garment sewing industry, and in industry they don't have time to pin. So one of the things that they do is they put their thumb under and fingers on top and turn it like this. And that prevents the bottom from being pulled through by the feed dogs faster than the fabric on top. I went over that pin just to be sure. There we go. So that is the trick there. Pin it directly in center and anchor it with pins on either side of the join. That's how you do that. That looks amazing. So I'll take it over to the ironing board. I am using a press cloth, and press the seam open, give it a good shot of steam, and then smash it with a clapper. You can even see on the inside of the seam there that that red is exactly where it needs to be. So if you don't get it the first time, definitely go to the extra effort, because this has been a lot of work and you don't want it to look shoddy in the assembly process. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Press it with my fingers. I've got a little press cloth here. Press that open. And I'm using steam. This is a Sapporo gravity fed iron. It never spits on your fabric because the water doesn't turn into steam until it hits this condenser right here, the valve. I've had that iron probably 10 years now. That's nice and flat. That looks really good. Oh, that's beautiful. That looks really nice. Okay, I'm gonna do all of the rest of the blocks like this, and I'll see you back here when it's all said and done. To get the backing ready, I got some quilt pins and just pinned it in various places all around, and I am going to stitch in the ditch. So I don't have any other batting or anything behind the top. But I've got my backing on right here. I've got it ironed and laid out flat. And I cut the edge of the quilt top down to 1/4 inch from the outside stitch line. And I like my backing to be just a little bit bigger so that if it draws up during the stitch in the ditch process, that's okay. And if you're not a quilter and you're unfamiliar with the term stitch in the ditch, I'm going to use some Superior clear thread, and Superior is the name of the company that makes it. And I'm going to stitch on all of these seam lines and really secure the backing to it. You can use safety pins. These are quilters pins. They are curved. I'll put a link to these below the video, but they're curved and they make it really easy for you to be able to get in and come back up the other side, since they have a curve, and then you can pop the lock on it. I have clear thread in the top and the bobbin, and I'm gonna get this thing all sewn together. When I stitch in the ditch on a quilt, I like to start in the middle and then work my way out. So I'll go through the center first. And how much you do is completely up to you, but generally, the larger the project, the more you would want to make sure that you've got it stitched really good. Good stitching. Okay, so from the front, let me get up close so you can see. So I stitched it right here on this line, and you can't see it at all. And on the back, this is what it looks like. And it looks great because the thread is clear. Here's the line right here. So it is well worth the investment, and it is an investment. This thread is not inexpensive, but it's very fine, and it will give you very nice results on your projects. This looks great. Thank you for joining me. I had a lot of fun making this. I know that you will too. If you like this video and you're interested in more tutorials for Designs by JuJu, or just to chat about what's happening in the embroidery and quilting industry, subscribe to my channel, Power Tools with Thread. Hit the bell for notifications so we can visit more often. We'll talk to you soon. You guys go sew something. Bye.